What's poppin', y'all? This is Deidre with One Shot Game, man. You already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. Now, as I always say, you get two choices: the ability to faithfully settle in the life that has been set out for you, or the ability to pave a path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. I see y'all, and even the ones in the back, I see y'all too. So look, the title of this video is going to be on the fact. I'm going to give y'all a detailed explanation on soul wounds and the real true description behind real love, because I think oftentimes people mistake real true love as the ability to love someone else more than you love yourself. You know what I'm saying? And when you're in the race against time in your own life of self-discovery of real love in your own life, trust me, it is a battle. You know what I'm saying? And it is really true when they say only the strong will survive, because now it comes down to understanding energy for real. You know what I'm saying? And listen, oftentimes our wounds are not displayed to us in a way where we can see them until we get into a serious relationship with somebody. You know what I'm saying? And it may not be the first relationship, it may not be the second relationship, it may not be the third. It's whatever relationship you in timing that gets a chance for you to finally be able to see you in somebody else and work against the race in time on trying to make sure you establish who you are in the form of self-love, to not go back to the very things that kept you stuck. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, just from my own personal experience, a lot of the times the people that we pursue in relationships are people that are not gonna love us back. You know what I'm saying? Simply because they don't have the emotional capability to even love themselves enough to love somebody. Every time they got in a relationship, it was solely for the need of them. You know what I'm saying? The energy they can siphon from them, what they can use them for. Listen, and I'm not exempt. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get how that can be. But at the same time, I think over time, you start to pour into someone because you're starting to care about them. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you get to know them more, you know? But when it comes down to those soul wounds, a lot of the times it'll be that one relationship that you're with someone that they will be an exact mirror. You guys will be an exact mirror to each other of what you guys both, you know what I'm saying, haven't healed in each other. You know what I'm saying? And you won't see it right away. It'll take some time. But over time, you'll start to see how the bumping heads, the arguments, the fights are usually because both people are battling the same wounds in each other. You know what I'm saying? And neither one of them has healed, but they're trying to make a relationship work, right? So when it comes down to matters of the soul wounds, oftentimes, even though you guys both mirror each other, it'll be one that heart just a little bit more burnt than yours. You know what I'm saying? Like they're a little bit more dark than you. You know what I'm saying? Just due to life and how what they went through played a great deal on their mental space. You know what I'm saying? That they tend to operate in a way where it's all about control. You know what I'm saying? Instead of actually using their heart. But it's still there. You know what I'm saying? That's why I feel like you can't never really underestimate a human being, because you just never know. But I feel like truly when you go through that experience with someone, it'll get to a point where either they will leave you or you will leave them. You know what I'm saying? Because you're catching on to their game and they're aware of that. So in order to prevent themselves from being hurt, they oftentimes leave you or you leave them. You know what I'm saying? And so then the real test starts to become visible. And that is the ability to see who is actually going to survive in this game of life and who is going to run back to the very things that hurt them. And usually what I think a lot of people don't understand is the person that usually has the form of strong power, strong control, you know what I'm saying, knew a lot of the times that they were getting into relationships where they dominated solely off of power. So if you leave or they leave, it'll be them basically throwing you under the bus, like, you know what I'm saying, trying to make it to where they had every intention of the fact that because you didn't want to stay with them, you know what I'm saying, and get used to their game and play their game, and you decided to leave, you know what I'm saying, emotionally or physically, they don't want to seem as if they lost. So what they will do is, again, throw you under the bus to other people to make it seem like it was all your fault, right? And a lot of the times I don't think people really understand that requires energy. Every conversation that is being had behind your back about you in a negative way is stealing energy from you. And a lot of the times these people in power and control, they know that, right? So once y'all split, it becomes now survival of the fittest. You know what I'm saying? Who is going to be able to survive in life and take their power back? Because you got to think about it. The moment y'all started engaging, the moment y'all started having intercourse, the moment y'all started sharing feelings, emotions, you take a part of them and they take a part of you. You know what I'm saying? But it got to a point where you either were on to their game and they had to leave you before they got hurt, or, you know what I'm saying, they felt like they wasn't enough, you feel me? And so they left and the relationship split up. However it go, each person took a part of themselves with them when they left, right? But usually, a lot of the times, both people go through the same life circumstances in their life, right? But the mission is for the one that got away before they could get hurt to throw the other person under the bus so that they can regain all their energy by seeing how life turns out for them. So if they're the type of person that, you know what I'm saying, has power and control and dominance, and they left that person before they caught on to their game, they usually hop to another person and siphon their energy, as well as getting energy from the person that they left because they're doing bad in life. But boy, you feel me, the tables turn when that person finally has the ability to wake up to the wounds that have been having them be on a mission to attract people that were never going to love them back. But see, you can't see that in yourself, especially if you operate a certain way that you feel is conducive to life. You cannot see that in yourself. It won't happen until you go through a certain experience where everything that has been holding you back in life is displayed to you in very vivid picture. And you have to deal with it on the forefront. But now, this time, you have to handle it a different way. You know what I'm saying? You got to do the opposite of what you've always been doing to progress in your power. And as you do that, you know what I'm saying, in life, you continue to grow in who you are, and you actually take your power back from someone that came into the situationship with the mentality of stealing power and leaving people before they caught on to what they was doing and going to the next person and siphoning their power, right? So when you're in the mission and you're growing in who you are and you're taking your power back and you standing strong, you know what I'm saying? Because listen, let me tell you something. When that happens, it is going to break you. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take a lot from you. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost as if, like, the person with the less emotions oftentimes are the stronger ones that came into it without the ability to ever love you. Like, they knew that. You feel me? Because they were emotionally unattached. So what they did is just hopped out of a relationship with someone that really truly cared, and then hopped into a relationship with someone else. You know what I'm saying? So they may look as if they ain't going through nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because they were stronger when it comes to being emotionally unavailable. But when you're someone that was emotionally attached and still had pieces of your heart, you know what I'm saying, their strongest ability is for you to become the weakest. And when that happens, then they're able to, you feel me, take pride in what they said about you and have their power, have their control, have their dominance, right? But you flip the whole game board over when you take your power back from them and you continue to grow in who you are, because they had it in their mind that you would come running back. You would get to your lowest point in life and you would come running back to them, and their power would be established, right? But again, like I said, when you flip the game board and you take your power back and you start moving in a direction that's conducive to you, and you start slowly, but you feel me, surely taking everything back that that person took from you, and you operating in a way where you becoming stronger, you looking good, you feel me, you're taking your energy source back from that person. And what happens is the very thing that they thought you would run back to is now the very thing that they run back to. And they're having a harder time breaking out of their soul wounds than you. And again, it's a process, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of healing that goes on in this process, you know. But again, like I said, it's very conducive that the healing is being done apart from someone who basically had it out to target you. You feel me? To hope that you wouldn't survive. They had this picture in their mind that they will steal all your energy from you and hope that you wouldn't make it enough to survive. You know what I'm saying? To be able to live in this world, because they already had it mapped out who you were, the type of person you were, how you operate, what emotionally gets to you. That's what they were doing in the relationship. Basically studying everything to try to target you, to get you to lay down once they left. You know, so being strong enough to be able to fight the whole thing backwards to forwards and remain strong now puts them in a position where they have to face the things that they didn't know were inside of them, that was making them be the type of person that was emotionally unavailable. You know what I'm saying? Caused them to really be a dark person. And a lot of them will now be put into the very pits that they dug for you. So it switches the more you take your power back. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I never want to see anybody in a ditch or in a rough spot or mentally, you feel me, strained, because I've been there. But at the same time, a lot of people go and move through life intentionally putting heart strain on people who are more sensitive, intentionally, to take from them without ever feeling like they're ever doing anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? And they will take as long as you allow them to take from you. And they won't see nothing wrong in doing that. And any time that you catch on to what's going on, they will manipulate you in a way to where you completely act like you know what I'm saying, are blind to what is really truly happening. So it's not about talking and telling them what they're doing wrong, because people who've been conditioned to operate in a way like that, they don't get that. You have to really take your energy back and don't go backwards at all. In any situation, you know what I'm saying? I don't care what you being faced with in life right now that is basically a mirror of something you've already went through. Do not go back to the old person that you were, because that's exactly what they want you to do. And a lot of times they'll try to emotionally manipulate you and trick you like they changed. They haven't changed. They're just banking on you to go back so that they can regain their strength and power, because now you're taking all the power from them that they have for themselves. And they wanted you to be weak, but now they are. You know what I'm saying? And it's basically giving them a whole explanation and demonstration of, look, this is the mirror. This is the person that you've been your whole life. You never thought or seen anything wrong with it, because there were people that cater to you. You know what I'm saying? And fell for your trap and your game and your lies and your manipulation. And you never thought that anything was wrong with you or that you would have to pay for the type of person that you are. Now, again, they can either regain their own source of power that has been taken from them through multiple people that have hurt them in the world, you know what I'm saying? Or they're going to sit in that pit and they're going to rot and they're going to go back to old methods of coping, you know what I'm saying, that eventually has side effects, or, you feel me, withdrawals, and you just never know. You know what I'm saying? They may have took their own self out. They may have went back to old past behaviors. Like, you got to understand, a lot of people, when their brain has to go back to a certain loop that they thought they exited out of, they're really not as strong as they thought they were. They were only strong because a person who had more compassion to certain situations, opened up their heart to them, and that is where they felt they were the strongest at. You know what I'm saying? But the battle really is being able to go back to all the things that hurt you and take your power back from that. Or you're either gonna, you know what I'm saying, continue to act how you've always been acting to the same situations and dig yourself in a further pit. And then what happens is you think you still strong and in power, and people now are going to be able to show you the very weaknesses that you run from your own self. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but it's such a real thing. And the person that took that power back, they're also having the ability to see things in themselves as well as other people that mirror to them the things that, you know what I'm saying, they weren't able to take back for themselves. So both people are going through a battle, you know what I'm saying, of things in their life that's redoubling back to see who, you know what I'm saying, is going to take their power back or succumb to the very energy that they've always been used to. You know what I'm saying? It get, hey, let me tell you something. It get real tricky in the battle of love. Most people don't even understand the real battle when it comes to true self-love. You know what I'm saying? It's not the ability to love someone else more than you love yourself, because if they get tired of you or they don't want to be with you no more, they're going to take every ounce of energy and power that you have. And if you don't know how to get it back, you're going to be depressed and your life going to go on a downward spiral. So it gets to a point where you're in a battle now of who can love their self more. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think about it. Some people, as they say, are so narcissistic, like they never think that they're doing anything wrong. They think that they're doing everything right all the time. They will convince you, manipulate you, finesse you to just be on what they own all the time. You know what I'm saying? Even though they deep down inside may know that the person that they are, you know what I'm saying, hurts people, but they get the weakest person that's going to fall for their game to never actually truly point out what they're doing. They know how to scout these people out. They know what to look for. You know what I'm saying? So when you stay in your power and you don't double back by any circumstance and you stay firm and strong on your boundaries, these people are now put in a position where they're going to be taught a lesson of actually being able to see where some of the traits and things that have hurt them also you have inherited, and you do that to other people. You know what I'm saying? And now you wondering why you can't find true love, or you wondering why, you know what I'm saying, people ain't rocking with you like you probably want them to, because you don't know how to love yourself first. You know what I'm saying? You cannot love anyone else until you love yourself first. I don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't love yourself first, what's going to happen is, on a soul level, you're going to bleed onto other people. You feel me? Subconsciously. Like, you're not even going to know you're doing it, because, again, you're so set in your ways. And the people you usually attract never say nothing to you. They just go along with it. You know what I'm saying? But when this person is in their energy and they're in a place where they want to get their life back, they actually refrain from engaging in any of that old energy. That old energy, and anybody operating in it is now going to be faced with the ability to see themselves truly in people that have woken up. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean, you know what I'm saying, listen, life is just going to get horrible. It depends, though, if you want your life back or you don't. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean you are a bad person, though. It just means you never had the ability to see who you really were for real, because you had this way of finessing it and targeting people that would never say nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's the reality of what's really real, what's really going on, is that the soul and its wounds has the ability to affect your heart. You know what I'm saying? And have you operating in a way where you're really in a dark space, and you attract people to you that don't know that in the beginning, and then over time they start to see that you're really a person that is upset by the things that have happened to you in your life. And what happened is you sold your soul. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the mental capacity to ever emotionally be available to give someone love, because you don't know how to love yourself. You know what I'm saying? And it's always going to be this mission of a competition, especially when you don't love yourself. Like, you have to really focus on doing what it takes to love yourself, getting back to the person that you were before people came along and stole parts of you. You know what I'm saying? And they knew what they were doing. And every time you felt vulnerable, every time life went into a disarray, every time your life fell apart, you know what I'm saying? Because these people were very understanding of the ability that once they left you, you wouldn't be able to survive without them. That fueled them, that gave them power. But once you get to a point in your life where you move forward and you take your power back and you no longer associate with giving them power, like I said, now they had the ability to face the things that they were doing to others. You know what I'm saying? And listen, it hurt. A lot of them never even thought they would have to be able to ever face that, because they thought in their mind, you know what I'm saying, they was moving in the right way. Listen, I'm telling you, it'll be that one person that comes along and is resistant to everything that they've ever been using to gain the control of others. You feel me? And they be in total shock because they thought truly and honestly they were operating in a way to where that would never happen. You feel me? Because again, like I said, they had studied the game. They had studied a person. They had knew their issues and their downfalls. You know what I'm saying? So that's when the race against true self-love happens. You know what I'm saying? And any advice I could have for anybody would be to continue to love yourself. Continue to take your power back. I don't care what you're going through in life. I don't care, you feel me, what ideas, thoughts you may have that tempts you to go back to that old life. Don't do it, because the moment that you do, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna play right into their plot. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna be able to give that person the ability to feel as if they can count on your energy to uplift them out of the dark space, instead of taking back their own energy from people that have depleted them. Do not go back. Continue to excel, continue to grow, because I feel like right now that is the battle that is the strongest right now, because these people were so hell-bent on studying kindred souls and people that have a little more emotional capacity than they do to, you know what I'm saying, be weak and allow them to keep siphoning their energy. So because they really are hell-bent on still thinking that, they are not going down without a fight. And the moment that you give them any type of ability to feel as if the tricks that they use can work, you know what I'm saying, it's over. You know what I'm saying? You're going to give all the power back to them, and they're going to feel like they have the ability to keep winning this fight. You feel me? So, listen, the best advice I can have for anybody out there, it's not to any gender. You know what I'm saying? It's for anybody who's going through any relationship struggles, any relationship hard times. Do not allow a person to take your energy, because they know exactly what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Two unhealed people cannot love each other, because you guys are people who don't love yourselves enough to love each other. So it's always going to be arguments and debates and back and forth, and sometimes they can get violent and toxic, and that ain't good for nobody, especially when you bring children into the world. You know what I'm saying? So listen, understanding and realizing that true love is self-love. It's gonna hurt. It ain't gonna feel good. You're gonna have to go back and tear yourself apart and die and be reborn to actually know what it is to chase true love. And that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. You know what I'm saying? But never, ever allow anyone to have the upper hand on your energy, because when two people decide to get into a relationship, it's two people bringing two things to the table. And if you're not wise enough, it's usually one bringing one thing to the table and the other one is taken. So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe.